YouTube. We back with some more picks and our predictions for this week 11 slate of games. It's your boy Ant. I'm here with my brother Dallin. Welcome back to another episode of the Overrated Podcast. Man, we've been doing numbers. We've been doing numbers lately. We do appreciate the love and support, as always.
Gotta keep supporting. We're gonna keep dropping.
Yeah, on God. Look, 3 times a week. I know we missed the episode. So we're shooting this on a Friday instead of a Thursday.
Yeah, I think we missed last Saturday. I think that was our episode.
Yeah, we missed our reviews for last Saturday's set of games. We didn't do so well, truthfully. I think we picked Duke to beat Miami. Miami kind of ran through Duke, and then yeah,
Texas A&M lost.
Yeah, A&M, embarrassing. We talked a lot about that though in our it wasn't a review episode, but it was our midweek topic episode. If you haven't already, go check that video out. While you're at it, checking out these videos, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Continue doing those numbers. Continue hitting that like button. Turn on them notifications so that you don't miss when we drop. Because we dropping. We dropping these videos 3 times a week in a straight heat. And we spitting facts. I was right about Clemson. They didn't play nobody.
They got dog walked when they actually did. At home.
Against Louisville, who is good, but we know Louisville, they don't beat teams they're not supposed to beat. They only beat teams they're supposed to beat. And that's the Louisville problem. They couldn't beat Notre Dame. They couldn't beat Miami, and they should have beat Miami. And they couldn't beat, who was that third loss they had to? It was Notre Dame, Miami.
Didn't they just play Colorado? Or was that Texas Tech?
Texas Tech's about to play Colorado. Whoever Louisville lost to, the facts. They can't beat teams they're not supposed to beat. And I know people are going to say they're not supposed to beat Clemson, but maybe they are. Maybe just maybe Clemson isn't the team that everybody thought they were. Just maybe.
They lost to SMU.
Again, another team that they're not supposed to beat.
Yep.
So they just lose to teams that they're not supposed to beat anyway. They're just predictable. They can't upset anybody.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? All those games, those 3 losses they took was all by a touchdown. So it had to be like at least one play in both of those 3 games where they could be undefeated right now.
That's why I'm saying, because a lot of people are probably going to watch this episode and be like, "What is he talking about?" Like, they literally beat Clemson, and Clemson was top 15, and they're not ranked. And it looks on paper, like a big time win. It looks like they beat a team they weren't supposed to beat. But I don't think Clemson was that good. I mean, they put up 6 points against Georgia, and then they kind of dog walked impressively everyone that they played, but they haven't played anybody that was relevant. So I mean, it is what it is. Mainly, I was just upset about Cade Klubnik getting Heisman consideration over Shedeur Sanders. That's mainly what upset me.
Definitely no.
I mean,
we both knew Cade shouldn't have been in that conversation, and we knew that was going to happen. That was really going to show at the when they played Louisville.
I can name just off the top of my head without fact checking or stat checking. I can name 3 quarterbacks right now that are playing better than Cade Klubnik: Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart, Curtis Ward. All of these 3 quarterbacks should have been in consideration before Cade Cade Klubnik for the Heisman Trophy.
All of them
Shador,
got better
not in
than him.
consideration because he has Sanders on the back of his jersey, which to me is kind of getting annoying. I get tired of him getting hate because he's Deion's son. It gets like annoying. Like it was kind of warranted after they blew that lead to Stanford. I don't know if you remember that last year. So they start off the season 3-0. They beat TCU, they beat Nebraska, and then they have College Game Day there for Colorado State. I don't know if you remember that, and it was all like
Yeah, I
big and they
remember
were
that.
blowing up. And then they got blown out by Oregon, which even at 3-0, and even with the prime train rolling, we knew that they were going to beat Oregon. Like we thought Oregon was a national championship team last year
Yeah.
with Bo Nix. So they lose that game, and I don't think it's about losing that game. I think it's about how they lost that game that made Shador get so much hate because it's like he didn't look impressive, and quite frankly, that offensive line couldn't block a fly if they wanted to from getting
And
in the backfield.
that defense could get no stop.
No stops. And then like they played USC, and they're 3-1, and they're at home against USC, who we thought and who I still think to be the greatest college prospect ever in Caleb Williams, and he goes in there and he puts up 42 and three quarters. And what does Shador do? He takes them down 21 points to USC, and he brings them back into a point in that where Boulder's lit because in the fourth quarter, Colorado has a chance to win that game. They end up losing that game, and then they go on the road to Arizona State. He does incredible things to beat Arizona State. Now they're 4-1, and then he goes to Stanford, and this is where it gets bad because at Stanford they're up. I don't know if you remember that game. They're up 24 something. I think 24-0. They're up 24-0 or 24-7 at halftime. It's like a big lead, and everyone's blowing up because they're like Colorado's about to be 5-2, and then like they'll be one game away from bowl eligible after going 1-11 and losing by an average of 29 points. And then what happens in that second half? Stanford goes ballistic offensively. Colorado can't move the ball in the second half, and then they lose that game, and then they never won another game that year. Obviously, Shador Sanders goes down with an injury, so he gets a lot of backlash for that. But like, put that season aside. Right now, today, with an offensive line, he's quite frankly the best quarterback in college, easily.
Wasn't he the most sacked quarterback last year?
Oh yeah, and it was historically bad.
Yeah. Like
But
it
like,
was
he gets hate for that. To me, that makes him. And since we're already talking about Colorado, that's going to be our first game we're going to get into. That makes him impressive to me because in order to get hit that much and still stand in a pocket and deliver a pass, like we watch it, right? We watch Noah Fafita, a quarterback that we kind of went off on earlier out this year, right? Noah Fafita has what we call the opposite of what Shador has. Noah Fafita gets sacked twice, three times, and he starts getting happy feet in the pocket, where he starts seeing ghosts. He starts feeling pressure that isn't there, and he wants to leave or throw the ball prematurely or just run without actually reading the defense because he doesn't want to get hit. Whereas Shador, I've seen him get hammered. I mean, hit stick in the backfield. And then the next play, what does he do? He sits there knowing that hit's coming and delivers a beauty of a pass every single time. He's the best quarterback in college football. And that's what makes him more NFL ready than anyone else. Because in the NFL, happy feet loses your job. If you're not composed and you can't sit in a pocket and deal with the fact that you may get hit or touched and deliver a ball down the field with accuracy, you're not going to make it in the NFL. Tom Brady could do it. Tom Brady could sit there and not panic in the pocket. Peyton Manning cannot panic in the pocket. Jaden Daniels from LSU. I don't know if you watched him in NFL this year. If you haven't, go watch a Washington Commander game. He is not scared of pressure. I mean, I've seen him. I forgot who they were playing against, but free blitzer off the right hand side lights Jaden Daniels up. He doesn't move. He doesn't twitch. He sits there and delivers a beauty of a pass or a touchdown to Scary Terry. Like he's quite frankly, that's what you need to be good in the NFL. And Shador got it. He's him, as his father would say.
No, I definitely that what does make the difference between Shador and the rest of the quarterbacks. The fact that he can stay in the pocket and take a hit and then throw a dime, a beautiful pass to whoever's wide open. He might still be a little bit covered. He'll still throw a dot.
Yeah, and his turnover ratio. I I checked some stats. Right, Carson Beck, who we thought would be the best quarterback in this year. Like people that watch college football had him going number one in the draft, like the number one college quarterback taken off the board in the draft. Right
Are we talking about the same
before
Carson
this
Beck?
season. Yeah, before this season. High hopes for Carson Beck. Carson Beck has 11 interceptions, 8 in the last 3 weeks. Not impressive, right?
That kid going like third, fourth round.
What if I told you that with the worst offensive line in college football last year and kind of a bad offensive line still this year, like he still got sacked 8 times against Baylor. He still got sacked 6 times against Nebraska, and he still got sacked 5 times against North Dakota State. Like we're still talking about a bad offensive line.
Yeah.
They're better. They're better. I mean, Jordan Seaton might be one of the best left tackles in the league in college as a true freshman. But like the rest of the offensive line is still working. They're still trying to get better. They're not as great as they should be for him. And he has 9 interceptions on his career in Division I football. Carson Beck has 11 this year. So like he's not turnover prone, even with all those hits and all that pressure, and him being pressured on last year 75% of his dropbacks. He's still accurate and not turning the ball over. Like that's what you want from an NFL quarterback. You want someone with composure, someone who can deliver in the clutch, and Shador can deliver in the clutch.
We've seen it.
And you want somebody that can sit there, read a defense, not panic, and throw the ball effectively. He does all of those things well. Not to mention, this year, he's been moving. Now, I ain't calling him a scrambler, but he damn sure ain't standing still in the pocket. He might not be going north and south, but east to west in the back, he's extending plays.
Yeah, he might. Besides, I think maybe Dylan Gabriel or Cam Ward, he might be the best passer on the run.
It's incredible. He don't get enough credit. He doesn't get enough credit.
No, they definitely need to start giving Colorado their credit where it's due. Everybody was hating on last year, and then they had a 4-8 season. Now this year they're 7-2 and they're ranked 20. They have a chance to make the college playoffs. Now everybody they're trying to figure out what ways they can hate on them, not giving them their flowers. Like, hey, they having a good season. They turned it around from last year. Everybody know when you coach in the first year and you have new players coming in your first year, you're not going to automatically just think you're going to run your whole entire schedule or you're going to get into the college playoffs. You're going to have that bumpy road. Then you come into the next year even better, and now look at you. You about to make it.
Yeah. And people gave a lot of hate to Deion Sanders because we know how Deion is. If you're a real football fan, I don't understand how you're hating on Deion Sanders. Like we don't know who the fuck Deion Sanders is. Sorry for my language, YouTube. I know you're gonna get flagged for that. But we know who Deion is. We know who Deion was. This is the same Deion Sanders in Atlanta that was wearing chains and talking crap and saying, "I'm gonna show up because I ain't gotta practice. I'll show up and do what I do because I'm gonna do what I do every time." Like it's Deion Sanders. You thought he was gonna go to Colorado and be like, "Yeah, we not gonna be that good this year, but it's alright. Like we're building something here." Like no, Deion Sanders came to Colorado expecting the team that he brought with him to be great. Like he was expecting, yeah, like he's expecting that. He ain't just blowing smoke when he say, "We coming, we here." Like he knew that Travis was him, that Shador was him, that Jimmy Horn was good. that Omarion Miller is great. They know this year. I think last year he thought that his team would be better, especially with the way they started. He did not expect to go 1-8 to end the season. But like, I mean, you really don't, as a football fan, and if you ever coached or played football, you would know. Like, I've been on high school teams that won state championships, and I've also lost. I also like had losing seasons in high school and college. Like I've been on teams that have won state championships and teams that have barely won 2 games, 3 games. But like in the off season, you don't know. Like you don't know until you put on your pads and you play that first team whether your team is going to be a state championship team or 2-9, not making the postseason, not even competing for a division title. Like you don't know. And when he first got to Colorado, you didn't know. What he knew was Shador is great, Travis Hunter is great, Shiloh Sanders is great, Jimmy Horn is great. I know what I got. I just don't know how what I got is going to affect everyone else in that locker room. And I think he went there, and I think there was people that weren't fully bought in, as you can see, because there was a lot of people that transferred out of CU last year. So, like, there was people that were like, first of all, they were salty off rip, because he walked in there like, I got my bag with me and it's Louis. And if you don't like it, get on. Peace. Deuces. Like, so you can already see. Huh?
I say he was straightforward.
Yeah, like, and people didn't like that. Like, who was the quarterback there last year?
Oh shit, I don't even know.
Exactly, because before Shador Sanders got there, nobody knew who the quarterback was. Colorado. What we knew was Colorado was 1-11 with an average loss of 29 points. That means they lost by an average of 29 points in all of those losses.
They were literally the doormat of that conference for the longest.
That's all we knew. So, Shador Sanders, yes, an HBCU quarterback who we're forgetting, and people were disrespecting Shador and Travis like they weren't top 25 high school commits
Both of them was
out of college. I mean, out of high school. Like we're acting like Travis Hunter wasn't the number one high school player, and quite possibly, I think he was the highest ranked prospect in high school ever on both sides of the ball. He was the highest rated wide receiver and DB.
He was supposed to go to Florida State, but then flipped.
Everybody want him. If you can find it, I think he had over 100 D1 offers.
Yeah, he did.
There's only 135 best programs, and he had over 100 of them offer him a scholarship. So there's no way you're telling me that you didn't think Travis Hunter was good, or that Shador Sanders couldn't play at a Power 4 level. There's people that's playing at a Power 4 level today that should be playing HBCU because they can't play at a Power 4 level.
Yeah.
And we're like it's literally, and I don't want to see it, but we know who it is. We know who it is that hate. Yeah, your true colors are shown. So we know who you are. We know what it is. But it's cool. Number 20, Colorado, which I'm excited that they're in the top 20. Number 20, Colorado, favored by 4.5 points at Texas Tech in Lubbock. Yeah.
No.
This is a mismatch game, and Texas Tech have something that they do something really well that Colorado sucks at, and Colorado does something really well that Texas Tech sucks at. And Texas Tech can run the ball, and Colorado's defense struggles with stopping the run, at least in the past. And then Colorado can throw the ball probably just as good as anybody in the nation, and Texas Tech can't stop a nosebleed through the air. So I think this is going to be a high-scoring game for Colorado. Now, whether or not Texas Tech can score, because Texas Tech beat Iowa State last week. But in my opinion, they didn't look like they won that game. Like, yeah, the score at the end says that they won that game, but the highlights and the eye test don't state that they won that game. It just feels like they survived that game and they shouldn't have. A really good team played bad last Saturday. Iowa State played bad. Colorado, I don't think they're going to play bad. They've been getting better every week.
They have.
So
I got Colorado. Say it's gonna be a shootout. I got them about. I'll say maybe 48-35. I don't think it will be close, but I think it's definitely gonna be a shootout. I think they still win by at least 2 touchdowns.
See, I don't think Texas State put up 35. I think Colorado's defense gets hate, but they're. I mean, if you turn on the tape of that defense ever since Colorado State, like that defense is elite in the second half.
Yeah, they're tough this year.
They let up only. I think they averaged 6.5 points let up in the second half. Like no team has put up more than a touchdown on Colorado, sorry, in the second half since Colorado played Nebraska. No, even before Nebraska. North Dakota State was the last time somebody put up more than 7 points on Colorado in the second half. Nebraska didn't put up a single point against Colorado in the second half. North Dakota State put up 6 or 3, and then we see what they did to Baylor, and then UCF, and then even Kansas State couldn't really put up points like that in the second half. They put up more than 7, but still, I think that Colorado's going to play this game. They're going to go into halftime probably up 24-14. I think they win this game, kind of like UCF 42-17, maybe 21. I think that's how that game goes. 42-21 Colorado. I think Colorado in the second half plays. They make adjustments.
Yeah.
Livingston, their defensive coordinator, has them ready to play second half football. They go into the locker room. They come back out. They know exactly what the game plan is in the second half.
Yeah.
So, Shador's gonna have a field day. If you're on Prize Picks or wherever you do your betting, if they have an over for passing yards with Shador, take it.
Throw over.
Take it. I think he's gonna throw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns against Texas Tech, and Travis is gonna have over 100 yards receiving. And what's crazy is we're at a point where Colorado, I'm starting to trust their DBs. I mean, Colton Hood, Preston Hodge, and McKinney. These kids can play. These players can cover.
They're
like we used to give them hate because they play a lot of man coverage, and we used to hate that shit. Like, why are you playing so much man coverage when the only person that can play man coverage effectively every possession is Travis Hunter? No, Preston Hodge can play man coverage well. McKinney can play man coverage well, and then Colton Hood with almost a pick 6 in back-to-back weeks. Like, he can play defense too. They got some players. All right, let's move on.
I'm in favor of Colorado this week.
Yeah, I'm loving Colorado every week right now.
Well, I told you they're gonna win up.
Moving on, we got Florida at number 5, Texas. Florida goes to Austin. Texas is favored by 17.5 points. This is gonna be an interesting game because I think it's gonna be way closer than 17.5. Texas, I don't know what to think of them. Like, I don't want to just go full on and say that they're like Clemson, where they've had a cupcake schedule and every real team they played, they haven't played that well. But like, it's hard to say that when the talent level on Texas is they're known. Like, we know of them.
Schedule.
Yeah, I mean, but like, we know of the players on Texas, and we know what the caliber of those players are. It's not like, Clemson, where we can't really name Clemson's receivers and halfback, and we don't. I mean, they're decent and they're good, talented. But we don't have a resume of them showing out in big games. Like, we know how good Isaiah Bond is. You know what I mean? We know how good Quinn Ewers can be. We know how good that run game could be. We know they have one of the best defenses in the nation. So it's hard to say that they won't win games just because they play cupcake schedules. I think they're going to beat Florida. But like also this is going to be one of those games where we try to figure out how good is Texas in big time games. Because even though they're going up against Florida, this is the SEC. And every team in the SEC can beat you if they play a good football game.
Everyone lost against Vandy.
I mean, we've seen Texas against Vandy. It didn't look that good. Like Vandy almost won that game. Vandy beats Texas. Diego Pavia. If you think he's talking crap now, imagine what would have happened if he would have beat Auburn, Bama, and Texas in the same year. Oh God.
That boy wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
And he's already did you hear that he's suing the NCAA for another year of eligibility?
He's suing him?
Yeah. He's trying to get another year of eligibility.
Let him. Because I want that I want to put his head in the turf.
Yeah. Well, I think if he gets another year of eligibility, then there's a chance that forget a target. Like there's a chance that he's one of the highest rated quarterbacks coming out of the draft next year if he plays well.
Yeah.
It's a good business decision. But back to this game, Texas is obviously the better team, and they should win this game. All I'm saying is, they haven't looked good in games that like have some level of skill on the other side. Like Vanderbilt's good, and they struggled. We see what happened against Georgia. Yeah. But like other than that, like ULM, UTSA, but these are schools that you're supposed to beat up on. Like you're not going to get props for that. Oklahoma without an offense, like Oklahoma couldn't score if they wanted to. You could have put them on a 5-yard line and they would have went 3 and out, 4 and out. So like, I don't want to give props to Texas because they run a Red River shootout against the worst Oklahoma team of the decade offensively. So I feel like this week we get to see how Texas is. I know that they're probably going to win this game, and then they got Texas A&M. That's when you'll really see against Texas A&M is when you'll really see where Texas' head is at. But like this is like an indicator. Like show us something, Texas. Y'all should beat Florida. Y'all should beat up on Florida. 17.5. You should cover.
It's a manhandle them. I don't think that's gonna be close. I'll probably get that like 35, 7-14.
You think they're gonna win that much?
Texas? Yeah.
Yeah, I got Texas winning this game 38-17. I think I don't know. Like Florida's been playing good football. They just extended who's their head coach?
No,
they just gave him an extension.
That's my thing. I haven't been liking Billy Napier since he started in Florida. So it's kind of like I don't know. But I think they should start. I think they should be starting DJ Lagway this week. If they do that, I think they still lose. Even if they do switch it in Mercy, and I still think they still lose. I don't think they have enough talent to play with Texas.
No. And it's on the road. Like if they were in Florida, maybe. But because you're going to Austin, and the last time, Texas was in Austin, they lost to Georgia, so they gotta prove something to that fan base right now.
Oh yeah. So I know that this gonna be a manhandle game.
Yep, we on the same page about that one. Plus, like if you have two quarterbacks, you know that old slang, if you have two quarterbacks, you have none.
Yeah.
That's kind of Florida right now. They don't know who they want to play quarterback for them. I know Graham Mertz is hurt right now, but still. We gotta figure that out. And you guys got two quarterbacks it's not like a Texas two quarterbacks where like you can play one and do well and you can play the other and do well and it won't matter who starts. It matters who starts for Florida. And they don't know. They don't know who's good. They don't know what quarterback's good. They have a bad QB system.
And you know what happens with teams they can't find a starting quarterback? The duty cheeks this year. We've seen all of them. Michigan, Florida, Florida State, everybody.
Yep. We're starting to see a little bit of Texas A&M struggling with their two quarterback system.
Oh yeah, them as well.
Even though I think even after that bad performance against who the fuck did they play? Who the fuck did they just get it with South Carolina? I still think that Marcel Reed is the answer.
I disagree with you that one.
You think Connor Raymond's the answer?
Oh.
Oh.
I said I ain't gonna disagree with you on that one.
Oh yeah.
I seen Connor play. I never liked Connor. Even when didn't he go to Mississippi State? Yeah, I didn't even like him at I didn't even like him over there.
Yeah, I'm happy with Marcel Reed. I think, like I said, everyone in the SEC has had one game where it's just like that was bad.
Yeah.
So I think everyone's granted that one game. It doesn't change how I feel about Texas A&M. I think they'll bounce back. I think they'll have a big game against Texas to prove whether or not they're real. That'll be the game. I think maybe they looked ahead to that game, and that's why they got beat up by South Carolina. Because once they beat LSU and they knew they were in the driver's seat of the SEC, I think they started understanding that they got to beat Texas A&M, or they got to beat Texas. Sorry, to make that the SEC championship game. I think they overlooked South Carolina, and once they realized that South Carolina was there to play and they were in the game, it was kind of shell shocking, and they couldn't adjust. So it is what it is. Moving on, number 4, Miami, favored by 13 over Georgia Tech. Not a lot to talk about this game. Like Georgia Tech, is probably going to get blown out. They don't have Haynes King. They don't know if Haynes King is starting the quarterback for Georgia Tech. If they don't have Haynes King, they don't have a chance. If they have Haynes King, I can see them winning this game. But it's like, actually, no, I can't. No, I can't. I can't even sit here and give you a accurate analysis on this game. I don't think they're going to win at all. Yeah, Miami's going to win. I think they're going to win by more than 13 points. Like, you can't stop Cam Ward. Nobody. Not me. Not you. Nobody. The only one that can stop Cam Ward right now is God himself, because that boy is hot. And Xavier Restrepo, who just broke the record for the most receiving yards in Miami history, he's hot too. Every time he touches the ball, it's golden. You on mute.
My bad. Georgia Tech at home too, so I'll probably get them about I say definitely gonna be a blowout, so I'll probably say like 42-14.
Yeah. 52.
The offense got too much weapons on it, and I don't think they're gonna be able to stop Cam Ward or Martinez.
Yeah, no, Damian Martinez, oh my God, underrated. I think Miami wins this game 58-13. I'm thinking they're going to put up down their 60 on Georgia Tech. Like,
well, they did almost do that against Duke.
Yeah, I mean, they did it against Duke, and Duke, like, from a coverage grade standpoint, had one of the best secondaries in the ACC.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, imagine what they're going to do to Georgia Tech. And Georgia Tech blew up off of a win in a foreign country against a Florida State team that is just now not good. And that win looks bad now.
Yeah, that win's bad now.
That win was the win that got Georgia Tech ranked in the AP Top 25, by the way.
Yeah, that's the thing. They beat Florida State, got ranked, and then lost the next game.
Or they went 3-0 and then lost. But yeah. Didn't they? Didn't they go 3-0 or 2-0?
No, I think they went 2-0. I just remember they beat Florida State and then yeah. So look, they went 2-0. They beat Florida State, then they beat Georgia State, got ranked, and then lost to Syracuse on the road.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they lost. And then they lost to Louisville, and then it was over.
Yeah,
but they beat Duke. So
Yeah, they beat Duke by
and they
us.
beat North Carolina. So I
Oh yeah,
mean,
that
they're
was surprising
good.
too. They're like just who who's that team? Like they're good to a certain extent. It's like they don't beat themselves, then they're gonna win. But if they beat themselves and then they don't have that momentum on their side, it's over. You can
And
just
they can run,
throw it in this toilet bowl.
and they can run the ball pretty well. And like I said, if they got Haynes King, they can play offense. I just don't think you can play enough offense for Miami. Like Miami's too good offensively right now. Even if their defense is sucking, which their defense is trash. I'm sorry. I know all you fans, they shouldn't be ranked number 4 because of that defense. That's it. Offensively, they're the number
Warriors,
1 team in the nation.
yeah, Cam
Defensively,
Warriors
they're
really
like
take.
bottom of the fifth. They're like bottom 50. They won't win a national championship because of that defense. It won't be because of Cam Ward. It'll be because of that defense.
If that defense can actually step up in the playoffs, they have a chance of winning. But if it's the same defense that been looking like for the whole entire season, any playoff team, they're not going to stand a chance against them. Yeah, they might be able to outshoot them, but it'll take let Miami get stopped. I say 3 times, not even 3 times. Let them get stopped twice, and the opposing team scores on both of those possessions. It's over.
And the playoffs is different. Like in the ACC, you can go 50 for 50 with Cal. You can go on these shootouts with Louisville. When you get to the playoffs and you start playing Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana, yeah, I'm putting Indiana in there. Notre Dame.
You can't beat them shootouts.
Yeah, these are teams that have defenses that aren't going to let you drop 40 on them. Like, you're going to have to play defense, and it's going to be a lot of 24-17, 28-24, 31-28. Like, these are how the games are going to look in the playoffs. Close games, which Cam Ward and Clutch, yeah. Like, I have faith in Cam Ward and Shador Sanders. You put them in the playoffs, and they have game-winning drives, they're going to win 70% of the time. But, like,
Both since you saying that both Shador and Cam have the same problem with their offense, and it's the O line. You know, Cam has to be scrambling like 85% of the time throughout the whole entire game. Like we seen it
Cam,
all through Louisville, he was just moving out the pocket and everything.
yeah,
So
but
you get
Cam Ward's offensive line is respectfully
garbage.
way better than Colorado's offensive line.
Yeah, but it just you gotta look at it like this. Now, if you put that offensive line against I'll say like a Georgia D line or a Bama D line, they're getting torched. Like they don't stand a chance. I throw Notre Dame in there too. They don't stand a chance. Cam is gonna be running for his life the entire game. And you know, as a quarterback, you run the entire game, you're gonna get winded.
Yeah.
Sooner, like if you having like 10, 12, 13 play drives, you're gonna get winded throughout that whole entire game.
Yep.
So I think
Listen,
that's why they're gonna make the playoffs, but the playoffs is I don't think they're gonna make the championship if that
I
defense
don't
don't
know.
help out Cam Ward.
This is the thing. Do you let Miami in the playoffs if they lose the ACC championship game?
I still think so, yeah, because that would be their only loss. They beat ranked opponents. That you can say, well, I give it that. But they also have quality wins. The team they have beaten has most of the teams they have beaten have positive records. They're above 500. So of course those
Yeah,
are
but
quality.
it's all about like the committee can also go into that and say who's better, a one-loss Miami, a one-loss Indiana, a one-loss Penn State, a two-loss Ohio State, a one-loss Oregon. Like you see what I'm saying? Because
Yeah, well, you can definitely throw out Ohio State. They got 2 losses. They're definitely not going to be better than both all those combined.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Because like if they lose the ACC championship game, we are at a point where maybe it's Ohio State and Oregon in the Big Ten championship somebody's getting out of there with a loss. Either Ohio State with 2 losses, I feel like will still get in. For some reason, I feel like a 2-loss Ohio State would get in over, especially 2 losses to the number one team in the nation, and especially if both of those games come down to one final drive or possession.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it because I feel like even though you have one loss or more losses, it's about when you lose that you should be penalized. Like, yeah, Alabama has 2 losses, but like I think it's always better to lose early than lose late.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to lose a game in November.
No, you definitely don't, because it's gonna take a long time for you to catch back up. So say for like who's that team? Just say for what's that team that was supposed to be in the playoff? So like Clemson, we'll put them before this day. They already had one loss. So then they lost again to Louisville, and now they're sitting at 19. It's going to be hard for them to jump from 19 and make it to the college playoffs. I think where they at sitting at on the ACC standings.
Clemson,
I said what they sitting at on ACC standings.
Clemson's
They're
number
third.
3 in the ACC.
They're third. So if they have SMU ahead of them and Miami, we can clearly tell SMU and Miami is definitely making it. That's going to be
Well,
an ACC championship right there.
yeah, and I think the loser of the ACC championship doesn't make the playoffs.
Well, yeah, you gotta give it take, but you also gotta look at it and see if anybody else, like the other championships, also have that same situation championship. Because so we can say it's just like we'll say Georgia. If Georgia makes it, then they play Texas A&M got 2 losses. We beat LSU this week. They got 2 losses. So it's safe to say like a Georgia and Alabama, for instance. If Bama lose, then we're not making it. But if Georgia lose, they're not making it. See? So it's like whoever loses that game, they're not in. I just don't see them getting in.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about it probably on our midweek topic episode about playoffs and who can get in and get out. I just want to say one more thing before we move on to the next game on a Week 11 slate. Two lost teams in other conferences won't, or one loss teams in other conferences won't get the same love that the Big Ten and the SEC is going to get in the committee. Like, let's just for all you fans out there that's going to be pretty upset with the top 25 ranking late in the year, or like the playoff bracket late in the year, just understand that an ACC team that doesn't win it, that has one loss or 2 losses, but doesn't win the ACC championship, or a Big 12 team like Colorado with 2 losses and doesn't make the Big 12 championship game, and Iowa State or BYU with 2 losses or one loss and loses a Big 12 championship, like they're not going to get the benefit of the doubt to make the playoffs. Yeah. Alabama with 2 losses will get a benefit of the doubt over any of those one-loss teams because our committee is brand biased.
They look at the strength of the schedule, and then the wins you have and who you beat, and then the losses you have and look at who you lost to.
Yeah, but they also, on top of all of that, they also look at the name on the jersey and the logo on the helmet, because essentially teams like Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Oregon, Miami, Oklahoma, like those are blue blood universities that have national championship pedigree. They're going to get the benefit of the doubt. They can have a cupcake schedule and go undefeated like Miami, but like it's fucking Miami. It's the University of Miami. They're going to get into the playoffs. Alabama with 2 losses is going to get in, possibly over Penn State or Penn State and Indiana with 1 or 2 losses because Alabama.
It's Bama.
Georgia's going to get in because they're dogs. They won 2 championships in the last 4 years. It's Georgia. Like, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it won't matter about strength of schedule or about who they beat and who they lost to. Not really. It's just about brand bias at this point.
Oh, who got next?
We got moving on before we get too deep in the topic. We got number 3 Georgia at number 16 Ole Miss. Georgia's favored by a touchdown.
This is my game right here.
This is the game.
This is my
Is this
game.
college game? Is this college game day?
I think so.
Or maybe college game days at Alabama and LSU. I'm not
No,
sure.
yeah, I think it's Bama and LSU because I think that's a bigger game. But both of these games is huge. One at
Yeah,
6:30.
these are these are the best games of the year. Not year, but of the week. Sorry. Bama.
No, this is definitely the best game of the year. Both of these are the best games of the year. Because both of these are college. You gotta look at it. Both of these games are college playoff like deciding games. Because if LSU loses, they're not in. If
Yeah,
Bama
anybody
loses,
Alabama
they're
or
not in.
LSU, yeah, it's over. And he lost in that game, their playoff hopes are gone.
If Georgia loses, they're not in. If Ole Miss loses, they're not in. Like both of these games, if either one of these teams loses, their chances of making the college playoffs is over.
Yep. Lane Kiffin. This is it, man. This is it. Like, I'm not saying he's gonna get fired if he loses this game, but like this is it. Like you have a quarterback that's breaking passing records. You have a defense that's playing pretty good. You have you have everything. You have a quarterback in Carson Beck coming in there that can't read a defense this year. Like this is it.
This is the game, bro.
This is the game for Ole Miss. Like you lose this game, your fan base is going to be kind of upset, a little bit upset, because this whole 12-team college playoff bracket was invented for you, Ole Miss. It was invented for Penn State. Like we created this bracket for Penn State, Ole Miss, Oregon, all of these teams that had 1 or 2 losses and was left out of the college football Final Four, just outside of it because they couldn't get over the hump with teams like Ohio State, teams like Michigan. So here we are now. Ole Miss with a chance, and you already have 2 losses on the year, so a third loss. We already said it. 3 loss teams are not making the college football playoffs. This is it. Show us something. Show me something, Ole Miss. Show me something.
But I'm
who you
taking
going
this
with?
week. I'm taking Ole Miss this week. And here's why I take Ole Miss this week. Georgia's on the road, and I just don't trust Carson Beck on the road. Like you said, for the past, 2-3 weeks, he has thrown 8 interceptions. 8 interceptions. No, I can't. Even with that big win against Texas, he threw 3 interceptions that game. When you see a quarterback throw 3 interceptions that game, you know they didn't win, but somehow they won. I don't think they're gonna win. If he throws if he throws 2-3 interceptions against Mississippi, it's over. It's over. Even with let's check it. Even with Florida, he threw 3 interceptions with Florida. So I got Ole Miss this week. I think Carson stays. I think Carson does what Carson Beck does: throw interceptions, cost your team the season. I don't see it.
But he hasn't. I think that's. Listen, I want to go with Ole Miss, but they gotta. I can't trust them. Like I don't trust Ole Miss at all. Like there's something with this team not being able to win. Like Penn State. Like we trusted Penn State. I think that's why I'm not trusting Ole Miss, because we trusted Penn State last week and they failed us. And I'm not going to make the same mistake on Ole Miss. You can't beat your rival, and I'm not going to fall for the whole, oh, they're good this year. This year is their chance. We're not Cowboy fans. Like, they're done. Like, until you beat Georgia, I will never pick you to beat Georgia. I'm going with Georgia. even if Carson Beck throws 4 interceptions, I feel like the Georgia will find a way to win because they have all year with Carson Beck's poor play. They have figured out a way to win football games all year. So I think they figure out a way to win again. I got Georgia winning this game 24-17.
24-17. I got Ole Miss. I'll say 28-24.
That's the first game we disagreed on today. Moving on. We got a unranked Michigan going at number 8 Indiana. Indiana's favored by 10 points. This is Indiana's game. This is Indiana's prove game. I think Will Johnson is actually not active for this game.
Yeah, he's not. He's out for this game.
So you don't have a lockdown DB. Indiana should go rampage on that secondary now.
And they got Curtis Work back too.
Yeah, Curtis Work is back. Indiana has won by a margin of 13 points. They won by double digits in every single game they played this year. I think it's going to continue. Without even getting into it, I got Indiana winning this game 38-9.
38-9? Damn. My bad. I got them winning. I got 35-14.
I think Indiana continues the hot streak until they get to Ohio State. That's when we're going to figure out if Indiana's for or not. Michigan's not good this year.
We already know. I already told you they rotated 3 quarterbacks and thinking they was going to be having a 500 record. It doesn't work like that. Not in college football. You can't do that. Now, especially not with how the transfer portal is working. There's no way you're able to do that.
I wonder what they do next year, quarterback wise. I wonder if they hit the transfer portal. They're going to try to recruit.
They had a quarterback that decommitted from them, and then he was going to go somewhere else. Wait, no. There was a quarterback that decommitted from a different colleges that he's I think it's like a 4 or 5 star in Michigan. So they think they hoping he commits to them, but I don't even know.
Michigan just wants a JJ McCarthy. They want a Sam Darnold. They want, they just want they don't want a quarterback to be great. They just want a quarterback to be good. That's all they need is a quarterback to be good. They want a quarterback that's going to lift his arms 15 to 20 times a game and all of it be accurate. They want a 15 for 20, 80% completion percentage, not turn the ball over quarterback. They don't have it. Like, JJ McCarthy was perfect. JJ McCarthy was perfect. Like, if you can talk about the perfect Michigan quarterback, it was JJ McCarthy. Everything he did in that final year at Michigan, to a T, was beautiful. He knew that all he had to do was throw the ball on 3rd and short. Because they were going to get you to 3rd and short.
Yeah.
Blake Corum and Dylan Edwards, they'll get you a win already. And then the tight end Loveland, good. He just ain't got no quarter. He's the only thing good on that offense. They had, not to mention they had a receiving unit back then. They had Roman Wilson. They ain't got no receiving unit right now.
Did they have a Duzier, or was that Washington?
No, that was Washington.
Oh, okay,
yeah. Don't even talk about Washington's receiving unit. That receiving unit was fucking filthy. They had Michael Penix. They had Roma Dunze. They had Pope.
They had McMillan.
Yeah, that receiving unit was fire.
That was straight deep threats on everywhere.
Receiving unit was fire. Oregon couldn't handle it. They got beat every time.
Man, that was a rivalry. Did it like fuck? My bad. Let me go. Far from Nugent, Oregon and Ohio State is Oregon and Washington. That was that time to watch them.
All right, moving on. That was fine. We both got Indiana winning this game by a lot. South Carolina heads to Vandy. South Carolina is favored by 1.5. I think personally, these are two teams that should be ranked in the top 25. This should be a top 25 matchup.
It should be a top 25 matchup.
And neither one of these teams are ranked. This is the game right here for Vandy. Vandy wins this game, their SEC championship hopes are still alive. If they lose this game, then that's it. It's hard to go against South Carolina. That defense is great. The defensive line That defensive line might be the best defensive line in the
Oh,
SEC.
God.
And then they have Rocket Sanders running the ball, and he looks unstoppable.
Mike, that's
And
what I'm
then
saying.
Leonard Sellers is good, and the receiving unit is coming around. South Carolina is good. Like, I don't know
They
how they have
should
so
be
many
ranked.
losses.
They should be ranked this week, especially with that big win over a number 10 team. They should be ranked.
Yeah, well, it's hard to be ranked when you have 3 losses. Same thing for Vandy.
Yeah, that is true. But then
What? Why the
you gotta
heck is
take the
Missouri
value of the
ranked?
W. You said what?
Why the heck is Missouri ranked? That's the question.
I don't know why they're ranked.
What are we doing?
Like that was a convincing win against a number 10 team. Number 10 team.
Yeah. But like, if we really talk about these teams, Vandy is better. In my eyes, Vanderbilt is better than South Carolina, and their record don't. I mean, the Vegas doesn't believe me because they have South Carolina favored by 2 points. But let's talk about it. Vandy's wins are more impressive than South Carolina's wins, and Vandy's losses look a little better than South Carolina's losses. Vandy beat the #1 team in the nation in Alabama at the time. Vandy lost to by 3 points a number 5 Texas team. Vanderbilt beat Alabama. South Carolina lost to Alabama
by 2.
So I think personally Vandy's better than South Carolina. Now South Carolina is hot. That's the scary thing for Vandy. South Carolina's hot, and they're feeling themselves after beating up on Texas A&M.
And they going to Nashville. Fuck.
I'm going. Listen, you can keep on rubbing your head and contemplating. I'm going with Vandy. I think Vandy's going to win this game 31-28. Give me Vandy.
See, here's the thing. What Vandy ain't got is what South Carolina got. They have a stud of a fucking defense. A stud of a defense. That D line is heavily slept on.
Oh yeah,
Kennard
that's the best. I told you.
Is it? I think it might be Kennard and Stewart, or is Kennard and Edmonds, whoever's on the edge.
All you gotta say is Kennard. All you gotta say is Kennard.
Yeah, they are dogs.
I think that's like I said. I think that's the best D line in the SEC.
Vanderbilt ain't really got much of a run game. They letting Pavia do much of the work for them. You know what? I'm going South Carolina. I don't even care no more. I'll go South Carolina. South Carolina, I'll probably say 28-17.
28-17. So, I'm going full Vandy. I think Vanderbilt's they're good. Like they've proven themselves way too much for me. Like the first time it's like you beat Alabama after they beat Georgia. You got lucky. You know, that's how we felt. Like you got lucky, you won't beat Bama again. But then they, you know, they keep it going. And they almost beat Texas. And they beat Auburn. And it's like, all right, Vandy's kind of good. They're 6-3. Like, and they're already bowl eligible. And they're in the SEC hunt. I don't know. I got faith.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna take them. We'll take South Carolina.
Moving on to the biggest game of the week. Our first 12-team college football playoff game, elimination game. This is the first elimination game of the year. Number 11 Alabama, who's favored by 2.5 points, at number 15 LSU. It's a night game. It's gonna be lit.
It's gonna be lit. They did
us wrong. Alley's about to be turned.
Oh my
God. Jaden Daniels is going to be on the sideline. Nick Saban and College Game Day is going to be there.
They gave us 2.5 points. Is the same.
Garrett Nussmeier has something to prove. LSU's defense has something to prove. LSU's mad coming off of a bye week after they lost to Texas A&M pretty badly in that second half. I think Alabama's coming off a bye week too, right? So this is two
Yep.
teams fresh off. This is two teams fresh off of a bye week, and
I think we got a
with
dub
2 weeks
before the
to
bye
game
week.
plan. Like this should be a fire game.
We coming off of Missouri shutout off of the bye week. They're coming off of losing second half to Texas A&M. Texas A&M.
Yep.
But you already know who I'm going with. I'm going with Bama. I say Bama. I say 31-24.
Bama 31-24.
That's it. I kind of want to put it into the factor that it's a night game in Death Valley.
Jalen Murrow is big time. I think he's going
I
to play
understand
big
that.
time. I don't think it matters. Something's off with LSU's run game. They're looking really one dimensional as the season goes on.
That's the thing. I hope we can keep them to just trying to throw the ball with Nussmeier because the way Texas A&M did them, we should be perfect.
And I got faith in Kalen DeBoer. I'm not going to be one of those people that starts the season saying Kalen DeBoer is the perfect person for the Alabama job because he's a winning coach and he just came off a national championship visit and he's good, and then turn around and hate him because he lost games to the likes of Vanderbilt and Tennessee. I still think that Kalen DeBoer is a hell of a coach. I still think that Alabama has a hell of a program. Like we're not going to sit here and act like we weren't high on Kalen DeBoer when he first got the job offer, and now all of a sudden because he played and lost 2 games, he's not Nick Saban. Like that's
Yeah, we all know that.
that's like trying to be mad at Mayo because he ain't Bill Belichick. Like we know that. Like we know the Patriots ain't gonna just be winning 6 championships again without Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Like what did you expect? It ain't Nick Saban there. Teams are gonna beat him. This is a different game plan. This is a different offense and defensive scheme. He's not running Nick Saban's playbook, and even if he was, he doesn't have Nick Saban's knowledge of the rest of the SEC. Nick Saban knows what he can do and can't do against Vanderbilt in Florida and Tennessee. Nick Saban's played hundreds of games against Tennessee. He understands what it's like in that environment, what that crowd is going to be like if you let the game stay close that long. Like he knows this type of thing. Kalen DeBoer doesn't know what it's like playing in Tennessee. Didn't know what it was like playing in the SEC at all. Like he went to Indiana, and then he played in the Pac-12. These are way different than the SEC. The SEC is big time. So, like I didn't expect him to lose to Vanderbilt. Like no one's saying that we expected Alabama to lose to Vandy, but like didn't expect them to be undefeated. I expected Alabama to lose Oklahoma. Like, I thought they were going to lose games, and like this is obviously preseason. I thought they were going to lose games to teams that were great. Like I thought they were going to lose to Georgia, like preseason. I thought they were going to lose to Georgia. I thought they were going to lose to Oklahoma. I thought they were going to have 2 losses. I didn't know where it was going to be at, but I knew they were going to have 2 losses. It just happened to be the Tennessee and Vanderbilt and not Georgia and Oklahoma. That's all I'm saying.
I thought we were just going to have 1 loss. I ain't going to lie to you.
Nah, because like Georgia was a loss. I thought Georgia was a loss, not because Georgia was going to be way better than Alabama, but because Alabama, by the time they played Georgia, I felt like wasn't going to have enough rapport with Kalen DeBoer to be winning games like that at that magnitude yet.
I had us beating Georgia because it's early in the season, and I knew that Georgia wouldn't have been ready for the run game that we had and Jalen Murrow. I didn't think we was going to be up about. I thought they was going to at least score in the first half. I didn't think we were going to be up 28-0 off rip. But the one loss I did think I thought we was going to have. I wanted to be perfect, but I was like, we gonna lose to somebody. I didn't think it was gonna come to Vanderbilt. Fucking course.
Yeah, like no one thought Vanderbilt. And honestly, preseason, I didn't think you were gonna lose to Tennessee either. I thought it was gonna be like I said, Georgia and Oklahoma, or
Or South
Georgia.
Carolina. We always have some type of close games
I
there.
didn't think it was gonna be South Carolina. Like I thought it was gonna be Georgia and Oklahoma, or it was gonna be Georgia and then the SEC championship game, possibly against Georgia or Texas. That's what I thought it was gonna be. Like Alabama makes the SEC championship game with one loss and then loses their second loss. But like, come on, we couldn't expect him to go undefeated with Bama in his first year in the SEC.
Yes, not.
Just like Texas, like anybody that thought that Texas was going to jump into the SEC or Oklahoma was going to jump into the SEC and be and win it or win out or go undefeated, you're wrong. Texas
should have a better schedule than they have.
Yeah, they play
There's no way.
Texas and Missouri ran from the smoke in the SEC. Oklahoma ain't run from the smoke. They play Ole Miss. They play Alabama. Like we ain't ducking the smoke our first year.
But this is gonna get y'all better. Who you got?
I got Alabama winning this game 28-17. Actually 28-24. I'm giving LSU the benefit of the doubt that they'll keep it close.
All right. Yeah, I got Bama. So what was it? What did I say? It was 35? No, 31-24. Yeah, they said.
There you have it.
Make or break it this week.
Yeah, there you have it for the picks this week. We will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow night after the slate of games to review them, talk about them, get that episode out to you guys by Sunday. If you haven't already and you made it to the end of the video, hit that like, comment. Let us know. Put W in the chat. Subscribe. We appreciate y'all so much. Hit that notification button. Yeah.
And support. Y'all keep supporting.
Great week of football. Every week matters now. We're in November. It's grind time. These are all playoff games, as far as I'm concerned. I know, like, there's playoff elimination games for LSU and Bama this week, and Ole Miss and Georgia. Probably not Georgia, but Ole Miss. But, like...
Nah, this is Georgia, too. Georgia already got one loss.
Yeah, but like I said, Georgia and Alabama with 2 losses. I feel like we get a benefit of the doubt. Especially because Georgia didn't make it last year with 1 loss. Remember, they took that loss to Alabama and got kicked?
Yeah. But you also got this week, too, Ole Miss. Then we're going to jump them because we already beat them.
Yeah. You guys jump them in the... But like I said, you could jump them in the SEC rankings and not jump them in the college football playoff rankings.
Yeah. But when then they're going to start doing the whole deciding factor when playoffs at the end of the year when they start doing the seedings.
Yup. Listen, man. Hope you guys enjoyed this week of college football. Hope you guys enjoy these slate of games. Like I said, we'll be back. We'll hit y'all up. All right, you two.
There you go.
Peace out.